Hey, Tom Brandon here. This week I'm in beautiful Barcelona for the Five9 CX Summit 2024. Barcelona, the sights, the sounds, the flavors of the city come together to make it one of my favorite cities in the world. Speaking of flavors, we even had a little time for a quick cooking class. But the real reason we're here again is for the Five9 Summit. This is the customer event for Five9 that started with a pre-briefing for analysts. There was a great panel on Gen Z and their buying habits with some great panelists on a panel led by Nikki Hall. Then Mike Burkland kicked things off the next morning, talking about his vision for the new CX. And we're going to talk a little bit more in a minute about what that actually is. One of the highlights for me was the demos, because this is where we actually got to see the new stuff in action. Jonathan Rosenberg and Callan Shabella showed really great detailed demos of how these new offerings work. There were also some great customer panel sessions, so a lot of insight from this year's panels for sure, talking about how they're using AI in their day-to-day jobs. There was also some great time with networking with the partner community, as well as some wonderful and fun informal networking time. I also sat down with Five9 CEO Mike Burkland. Here are a few highlights. Be sure to be on the lookout for the entire interview, which I'll post separately. Hey everybody, Tom Brandon here. I'm here with the CEO and chairman of Five9, Mike Burkland. Mike, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Tom. Great to be here. Well, first of all, we're going global, and that's a big part of our growth strategy, and it's been part of our growth strategy for the last several years. But the old CX was really held back by a lot of technology limitations, whether it's on-premise systems that were just hard to manage, costly to manage, difficult to upgrade. So customer experience is strategic, and if it's a poor experience, which I would argue that in the old world of CX, it has been a pretty poor experience because of some of those limitations in technology. Grouping those two categories together now and talking about them as AI agents, whether they're digital or voice, and it's powerful. It's taking self-service to a whole new level, and that's the new CX. And the new CX is powered by AI. That is the fundamental ingredient, but there are other ingredients too, like contextual data. If you don't have the right data behind AI can't do its job. A lot of these large brands, they're very excited about AI because it delivers such a cost benefit over millions of interactions being handled by humans. The more of those that we can put through self-service powered by AI, that's a huge cost saving. So I'm just excited to see the kind of economic payback from deploying AI solutions. That's really what this is, that's the business side of this, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, well, great job with the event so far, and great keynote this morning. Really exciting announcements, and thank you so much for making time to sit down today.
Thank you, Tom. Great to be here.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks. For my first takeaway, I want to talk about AI agents. Now, this is a new product Five9 announced this week, and it's basically taking the concept of a chatbot, but taking it much further than we've seen. And the example they used, someone was checking their airline points, realized they were just short of gold status. So they were kind of interacting with this chatbot of how many points do I have, how short am I, and is there any way I can get upgraded? Well, in the past, it would just basically provide basic information, and then would have to escalate to an agent and maybe even a supervisor, which would take time and resources. But what they're able to do at Five9 is ingest through the knowledge base the criteria of when they might upgrade someone. So what is the policy of when someone might be upgraded that's just short of their points? And it was actually able to do that in real time and then make a determination that in this particular case that this customer was eligible, and it just went ahead and did it. I think this is really cool because we're kind of moving beyond the simple self-service tasks that chatbots have been relegated to in the past, and really starting to edge more into that, what we would assume would require human intervention, more complex things and more things that require judgment. and it's able to do that. And I think with the relative ease of which this could be implemented, it's not a coding type situation. It's just simply building the right prompts and to kind of guide the logic through. I think is a great development, and I think it's really exciting what they're building, and I look forward to see where this is going to go in the future. For my second takeaway, I want to talk just a little bit about Acqueon. This was a recent acquisition Five9 made this year, and while Five9's been very solid in the service side, there's this whole new opportunity on the sales side or the revenue generation side that I think is particularly interesting. We've been hearing from customers that see the tools that are available in their customer service and in their support structure, and they'd like to be able to extend that into their sales team, and that's kind of what the Acqueon acquisition gives them. It gives them the ability to go after a large part of the market that's kind of underserved at this point. And it's also a revenue generating arm, so it's actually really interesting when you start taking the same tools that we're applying towards service and AI and agent assist and coaching and all this stuff, and applying that on the revenue generation side. I think is real exciting. I think it's going to open up new opportunities for them, and then in the future be able to blend together where you don't just have a support organization and a sales organization on completely different platforms from completely different vendors. To be able to kind of roll those together, I think will be a compelling feature for companies that are really serious about leveraging these tools, not just in the service side, but in the sales side as well. It's been great to be back in Barcelona. I think the fact that they're doing this conference here and continuing to make the case as an international company is really cool. But I think back to the first time I was in Barcelona, and I visited Sagrada Familia, the big church here, back in 1990. And at the time, it was just four walls and a facade. There was a vision of what it was going to be, but it was basically just a construction site when I came here, and I didn't get it. I didn't get the vision. None of it made sense to me, seeing the concept art, seeing what it was going to look like. Returning years later, when it's in the nearly completed form, it blew my mind. And while there was a vision, it was really hard to see what the reality was going to be. Mike Burkland, Five9 CEO, talked about this in his keynote, a vision becoming reality. And I think we're seeing that in two areas. Number one, we're seeing the Five9 vision of what AI can do becoming reality with their new product announcements, starting to see maturity in this space. And then also with their customers, how do they take this vision and how do they implement it? And they announced an AI blueprint where they're able to go to their customers and start collecting data and come back with just some preliminary reports to show, here's some ways that we can help you, begin your AI journey. Here's some things we can do, and here's some kind of areas to focus on, just from some initial analysis, just to get people started. I think there's a lot of folks that don't know where to start, so I really look forward to seeing the results of this AI blueprint, and seeing how this translates into customers, being able to make the jump into this brave new world, and really achieve success. It's been a great week here with Five9. I want to thank the team for having me, allowing me to be a part of it, for the executives, for all that they've shared, for the team that put on such a great event, for the customers that shared their stories. It's just been an amazing week. Well, that's it for this time on Convergence. We'll see you next time.